Okay, cool. So last time you guys were on this airship. You did commandeer it by essentially dismembering and killing the admiral who was attacking you all for being stowaways on the ship, had Finry tied up, and was taking all of his stuff. You did discover Flickerwisp is also on the ship, who is now, I guess, the highest ranking officer by default. He has at least taken the role of captain on for the moment. You did try to figure out what the deal was with regard to this person who came down into the cargo while you guys were still pretending to be constructs and looked at a particular box that had a very advanced lock on it and then walked away. And you guys didn't get a good look of his face. He was clearly a gnome from size. And then afterwards, when you all went back down into the cargo hold to take a look, the box was missing. You did find a piece of green cloth attached to a loose nail on a crate that was just underneath where it was. And you kind of gathered all the people together in the ship, looked at their clothing, and didn't find a match for that. Now, there was a gap in time that occurred that could have allowed some of the crew to have changed or otherwise. But yeah, for the moment, you don't know who took that box. You all discussed what the next plans were. You are calling yourselves agents of some sort of protector group that is fighting against weird crimes of the gnomish captain, admiral. Thus far, I think you guys passed all your diplomacy and various checks to keep that front going, as loose of a front as that is. And then at the end of the last session, we did a little out of session thing where I gathered answers to a Mad Lib. And that Mad Lib is going to partially direct where we are going next and how we get there. One thing I did want to show before we move on is there was a question about the symbol that was on the crate. There was a very particular stamp signal on the box that went missing, and that looks like that. So that was the symbol, kind of a geometric pattern on the side of the box. Was not familiar when you guys tried to recall all the different kinds of ship logos and companies. You could not recall one in particular that would align with that imagery. So, onward. A couple of rules about this Mad Lib thing that's going to happen. And we're not going to do all of it all at once. There's going to be some play in between. But each time we go through, let's call it one of the items in the Mad Lib, there's going to be 20 total that you answered. We're going to roll a 1d4. The GM will roll it. And that will determine which answer is the one that applies to that Mad Lib. Now, each player has the ability to do one reroll request. So between the four of you, you can get 4 reroll requests with no repercussions whatsoever. If you don't like the answer that came up, you just have to, well, actually, with that one, you don't have to have agreement. One person could override the other 3 and just simply say, I want to reroll that for whatever reason internally. Think of this as kind of like during the period of the flight, you all are jockeying and discussing and debating about like, what are we doing here? And that's going to alter things. So 1 reroll request per player. And then each player also has the ability to change a specific answer available for that item to a very specific thing, as opposed to a reroll. If you do that one, there could be potential negative repercussions from that choice. So when you do that, you need to be mindful that GM will get kind of a little chit that he can use potentially to alter things. Lastly, at the end of the Mad Lib, the group can choose to change one of the answers without any repercussion. to whatever you want. Doesn't even have to be one of the answers to the Mad Lib, but it can only apply to one of the items. So, with those rules in mind, we're going to start with a couple of these Mad Libs. Where on the world? Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to say I put a quick question there in the chat.
Yep.
Where exactly are we?
So you guys are currently, at this point, you believe, halfway over the ocean, the Sangrean Ocean. You believe, just by general, I would say Max's capability with knowledge geography and things, and between the survival checks, you guys believe you are south of Shadowwake, just based on how low the sun angle is and the time of year that you guys are. Somewhere over the ocean. So we're going to put it at approximately, give or take, 100 miles, right about here.
Oh.
Give or take 100 miles.
Gotcha.
You do not see land at this point, so it is difficult to get any kind of bearing beyond that. All right, so back to the question at hand. I will open this up. So here are the answers that you guys had for the first question. First question was, or rather the first entry was a verb. Lanray had asked for it to be boasted, Godolphin returned, inhibited by Max, and bit by Finry, as in bite, I assume, right? Finry?
I guess so.
Yeah, as a verb. Okay. So here comes a roll 1d4 for that selection. Is a 3. So Max's inhibited is going to be the answer. And I'll change tense accordingly as needed, if needed. So does anybody wish to change that, or is it too early for anyone wanting to tweak?
What is, how are we just changing the word without hearing what it's being used in?
Yeah. So while the game is being played, you can change it to another answer by re-rolling, or you can change it explicitly to one without knowing what the Mad Lib actually is in the end. So if there's something really that you're like, oh, that probably is weird or doesn't work or really goes against what I want, you can change it during it, but you won't know how it's applied contextually. However, at the end of the game, you can come back and pick one where you just are like, we're changing that answer to whatever you want. So yeah, it's pretty early in the Mad Lib to necessarily change anything.
I like that though. Makes it interesting.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a little bit of a white elephant Mad Lib. So
good.
Nope.
I'm invested in what's about to happen. So.
Yep, and the dog loves it. So okay, so we're gonna keep inhibited. Hold 1 second. There's a little bit of like massaging I have to do to some extent because of the you guys didn't always provide the same tenses, and I didn't necessarily say like past tense, present tense. So I just have to tweak it a little bit. Okay. Good. And we'll do one more here, and I'm going to let somebody else roll it, so I'm not always the one rolling. Here is... So the next one was status. So the last word was inhibited. This one is status. Let's start from the top. Lanray, why don't you roll me a 1d4?
All right.
Okay, Max again. Dignified, inhibited and dignified is the status here. Does anybody feel against dignified in any way, want to switch it, or otherwise re-roll it?
I'm just admiring Landray's status. I love it.
Chafed. Landrays are definitely like the wild card I think you're going to find to some extent. So, I'm not hearing anyone wanting to change dignified, so I'm going to go ahead and import that. Okay. All right. I think this is going to be vibey. It's not going to necessarily be grammatically correct, as is the case with every Mad Lib. Cool. One more. We're going to do one more right now, and then we're going to move into some actual play. So here is... This one's binary. It's going to be unsuccessful or successful. So Madolfir, why don't you go ahead and roll a 1d4. There's a 50-50 chance either way. Another 3. Max is getting all the answers today. Okay. Successful. So the answers were inhibited, dignified, and now successful. We all good with successful? Nobody's fighting against that? Yeah, if it's bad, it's definitely Max's fault. Okay.
Right, at least this way we can all blame it on Max. So.
100%. Always blame the wizard. Okay, good. So for now, we're going to hold it right there. Go ahead and clear this and go back to the galley. So you all, Max has introduced some sort of digital weighted 4-sided die. I mean, he does own the server, so I don't know what he's doing hard coding into this game. I have no way of verifying. Yep. So with that, like I said, you guys kind of had these suspicions about something weird happening on the ship. Flickerwisp is extremely busy just trying to keep the ship not from crashing, while also keeping mutiny at bay, even though the crew seems okay with the direction that's happened. Is there anything that you guys want to do as the journey continues on hour by hour?
Exactly.
What you got, man?
Yeah, I don't know. Other than just looking at everybody suspiciously like they stole the box.
Okay, I'm just imagining Madolfir sitting in the at the bar of the galley, just staring down people and giving them a crook eye as they walk by, oh, I'm not trusting you either.
You look like the box stealing type.
Yeah, I mean, definitely if there's time, there should be some clue gathering type situation. So observing the crew, seeing what things are going on, trying to see if I can understand more. There's also this piece that we have to get the chief engineer to teach Flickerwisp how to run the ship, because I don't think anyone has figured that out yet. So
yeah, for sure. So do you want to go maybe who wants to go look at the engine room with the chief kind of bosun and Flickerwisp, and who wants to maybe try some gathering of information from the various personnel?
I'll do the gathering information.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, I think Landray would be interested in the engineering just because I think this is his first time in an airship like this. So
yeah. You guys kind of were in an airship similar to this when you were in Mechanus, but what happens in outer planes stays in outer planes.
All right.
Okay, Mayman at 2. Okay, let me see if that check gets you anything on my old journal here.
It's not like I can take 20 on gather information. I have lots of time, but
yeah. Yeah, this is more kind of if there is a hostile element, this DC check is more about how he's covering his tracks, or she is covering his tracks with information getting out versus yours. So it is kind of contested in that way. Okay. As you move about and the others try to get Flickerwisp's attention to go take a look at how this ship stays afloat, Landry, go ahead and give me. Do you have any kind of knowledge skill, Landry? Are you smart in any way?
Right. I have geography and nature.
Okay. Give me just a straight intelligence check. And Max and Midolfir, you're obviously like keeping an eye out on things. Give me a spot check for you, Midolfir. Max, what are you doing other than pulling your portents out of your hat?
Like
you can join any of the other activities too if you want.
Right, but is it basically like downtime activity? Like how much period of time are we talking about?
Yeah, you have hours at hand if you want to be doing something that is a downtime activity.
Okay.
While you think about that,
we don't have any books on here. Like we looked, we didn't find any books, right?
You found the logs of the admiral, and where this ship is intended to go is a location called what was the name of that? I'm looking for the correct journal for the name of it. Anyways, you did find the location that you guys are headed is called scrolling.
Something different. I'm gonna go over to like where the enchantment that gives the ship its flight is, and I'm going to spend a bunch of time kind of just looking at it, testing it, basically doing spellcraft check on it to understand the mechanism, the magical mechanism.
Okay, go ahead and give me a knowledge arcana in that case.
Knowledge? Can I do spellcraft?
Oh, you can do spellcraft, yeah.
Because it's an active spell that I can see the results of, right?
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Midolfir. Okay, yeah, that's definitely going to be able to tell. Midolfir, with your spot check, you notice before Lanray approaches Flickerwisp, and Max has already gone to the engine room without the bosun just to like start investigating how this thing works on his own. Before Lanray actually goes up to Flickerwisp, you notice that the crew is constantly coming up to him and asking questions like, what are we supposed to be doing? The normal, like he hasn't created a list of duties or anything like that for the crew at this point. With that spot check, you notice one person goes up to him quite frequently. In fact, when Lanray approaches with to Flickerwisp, there is somebody currently talking with Flickerwisp in that moment. And Lanray, with your sort of static listen capability, you are able to hear what they're talking about. He's asking Flickerwisp like where we are and how long it's going to be till, you know, we get to where we're going. Like he keeps asking, you know, how much longer is the journey until we get there? And he actually has like a map of the continent, and he's kind of like, where are we right now in terms of how many miles we are from various places? And Flickerwisp is getting kind of annoyed because you could tell that Flickerwisp might not necessarily know where we are until he gets closer to land.
Okay.
So
okay. Interesting.
You notice that. Finray, with your gather information check, you find out that the 3 people that went to the quarters after the whole battle, those are specifically the people that work in the sort of food galley, making sure that food is prepared for the rest of the crew. One of them kind of makes sure that the water barrels are kept fresh in the galleys from the cargo, so he's always going up and down, bringing these little like cute pony kegs of water up But yeah, those 3 are kind of the services staff. They don't do anything other than support for the rest of the ship. So, in downtime, they usually take whatever rest they can get.
I will go and properly search the galley, hopefully when no one else is there.
The galley or the quarter? Which one?
The galley. You said
Okay.
that these folks are in the galley, so I'm going to go see where they were.
Yes. Yeah. So they were the ones that took off to the quarter. While you guys are kind of reassembling and searching and doing things, they do reappear in the galley to do their sort of duties as it gets closer to sort of food service times. You do notice others gathering almost like clockwork. Once they've been in the galley for about 15 minutes, other people start filing in and there's pots of food already ready.
I'm really making poisons the food, so I'm going to inspect the galley, make sure that there's nothing off-putting. I'm also going to inspect the foodstuffs, make sure that part of it makes sense and nothing's going wrong.
One of the people, the one who's carrying a pony keg up, kind of like looks at you and goes, "Hi there. I thought you were like a crime investigator. Are you also a investigator of food? Are you a health inspector?"
Yeah, I mean, I thought I said this before, but I would not be doing this in front of all of them. So I'm assuming that they don't hang out in the galley the whole time. And so
you're waiting until there's times that nobody's around to search around?
Yes, I'm not searching anything out in the open. I'm definitely doing things hidden. I'm definitely being sneaky about the whole situation.
So let me see if that actually occurs. Give me a hide check, which you're going to have an extremely high one. It's going to be in the 30s, I'm sure. 34. Okay. Yeah, I'll retcon. You are successful in sneaking around behind the spots, taking looking cabinets in the moments of time when the service persons are not around. As you do, I assume you're looking for maybe things like a box or things that might be incriminating. You don't find anything out of place that wouldn't otherwise be behind the bar of a galley. No poisons. You have craft poison as a check, right?
Do you want me to roll it?
Yeah, give me a roll of that as you're like looking through the various liquids, of which there are plenty, simple syrups and ales and various waters. With that check, you feel pretty good that none of these are poisoned, just from smell. If it was a poison, it'd be one that is explicitly meant to be masked, not apparent immediately. Your check in this time is not sufficient enough to catch the most sort of hidden types of poisons, but why would these guys have an extremely rare, expensive poison behind the bar? Okay. So your gather information check generally gets that these service people are busy getting things ready for dinner service.
So this last part is important. So while I am looking not only at the galley, but also where they keep all the food, I will also look for the best opportunity to poison said crew of folks or things that could be used as poison.
Okay. Yeah. You do find some various cleaning agents. You don't find anything that immediately by itself is just like, an extremely poisonous thing that would kill someone. You find some things that would make people sick if that's what you would want to do. Your poison check, if you were to try to use some of those various unguents and things that are laying around, your check would be to mask those things so that they're not detectable to somebody who's just picking up a glass and being like, that smells like it's not good. So you can give me another craft, if you wish, you could do another craft poison check to do that. And the limit of that craft poison check would be that you would make a solution that would make someone kind of not feel very good afterwards.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be doing anything crazy, but it's like, if I put this in the stew, everybody's going to have diarrhea, right? Like that's like
it's like wedding crashers.
Yeah, like that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. I can run another craft poison. I don't actually want to do it. I just want to know that I could do it if I needed to.
With the 17 that you got before, you feel very confident that you could do it with the things that are available. You see stuff that's like, yeah, that would cause people to have a very upset stomach. Like I said, if you were to actually do it, the check would be, the DC of the check is based on how well you would mask it, since these are not actual poisons you're making.
Okay.
Yep.
And then, so theoretically, like if I felt like everybody should get sick after dinner, I could help them all get sick after dinner.
Definitely. Okay. Max, with your check of the Arcana that's holding this ship up, I mean, there is a very obvious large whetstone at the core of this enclosed engine space. And the essentially these various rings are spinning around this crystal. And it seems like it's almost like a reciprocating force that, like, whatever arcane magic is being released, which you believe to be the levitate spell, is being amplified by the spinning of these various rings, as well as kind of capturing lost power and bringing it back into the crystal so that it is running at peak efficiency. Otherwise, holding this entire ship up with a spell would take dozens of casters constantly, upkeeping it to make it work. This large of a whetstone is about as rare as you have ever seen, larger than any of the stones that you've ever seen, in fact. You feel confident that you understand the spells behind it. The sails themselves on the ship seem to be aiding it, but more for the purpose of movement forward and backwards, rather than the levitate spell of this engine, which seems to be the thing that keeps this big, massive ship floating.
Okay. Part of why I'm doing the research is I'm trying to figure out if there's any rationale that makes sense to try and take the sails that we have that we brought on board and like jury rig them onto the ship. How would that affect things?
Okay, so give me a knowledge engineering. You understand which one is propulsion, which one is keeping it afloat. Give me a knowledge engineering. This is going to be, okay. It's both DC 20. So, you believe that if you were to add more of those magical sails, somehow rigging it up into the main masts, that you could increase the speed in which this thing moves forward and turns also. Like that, you could alter it so that it can turn faster.
So like maneuverability?
Yeah, your maneuverability and speed are directly related to the square footage of magical sail. So I would say with that knowledge engineering check, you also have the ability to do that now with the loose rope. If you wanted to, you could rig yourself up a faster airship right now. It would take several hours. You might have to take some of the crew with you for the labor, obviously, since you are not the strongest person. But yeah, you think you're like, okay, I get this. I could rig this to make it better. So keep that in mind. Madolfir, finally, with your sense motive check, you notice that the person who's bringing the kegs up and down, as well as the other two, they never notice Finry, who's sneaking around. You notice because you're like always.
No. Sorry, that was specifically about the guy that keeps walking up to Flicker Wisp with the map.
Yeah. So that person is one of the service people.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. So Finry, has been sort of avoiding them for a while, checking the things, and this service person on one of the journeys up from the cargo hold, bringing back water, kind of like goes up and is talking to Flickerwisp, and that's what Lanray overhears about the distance. Lanray, Finally, you get Flickerwisp to leave his post and go to the engine room where you find Max studying and observing the engine. The bosun is like, in Gnomish, he goes, I didn't realize someone else was in here. And Flickerwisp helps, translate that for you all. Max, tell people if you're going to go sneaking around.
Me? Sneak? I would never.
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing I want to do.
Yeah.
So I want to wait till the guy comes up to Flickerwisp with the map again. Number one, first thing. Can I tell if this is like a map he carries with him or if it's like one of the ship's maps?
You have not seen this map in the ship. In fact, the ship really, from what you've seen, only has the map that was in the quarters of the Admiral. And then Flickerwisp has his own map that he's been like creating through his journeys, documenting from various towns he's gotten information from. This map seems to be worn whenever he takes it out, like he's been unfolding and refolding several dozens of times.
Okay, so this is kind of what I want to do. I want to be hanging close to Flickerwisp, and the next time that guy walks up, pulls out that map, I want to be there. I'm like, hey, can I see that map?
Okay.
I want to see if I can spot maybe something that may be familiar to me.
Yeah, we'll see how that resolves. So, yeah, the guy, comes back from one of his discussions. When Lanray goes and takes Flickerwisp away, the guy comes back down the stairs and gets to his duties behind the galley, and you're close by. So you kind of ask him about that right now.
Well, no, like so in my head, like I'm kind of hanging out by Flickerwisp, and when he comes up and pulls it out to talk to Flickerwisp, I'm gonna kind of step up and be like, "Hey, can I take a look?"
Okay, sure, yeah.
So his attention is more on his task of talking to Flickerwisp when I come up, right?
Yeah, and with that sense motive check, you look at the map itself as he's holding it out. He doesn't cower or hide it or like try to keep it from you seeing it. He's showing it to Flickerwisp as well, wide open. He's like, sure, are you also not sure where we are? He says that to Flickerwisp. Flickerwisp translates it for you. And Flickerwisp is like, Madolfir, you have to trust people sometimes. He's just...
Yeah, but does he hand the map to me?
He sort of gives you a corner of the map while still holding and pointing to stuff. With Flickerwisp, he's like, how far are we from Kragenstone? How far are we from the southern cape of Dorithia? He's picking various like geographic points, and he's trying to figure out how far we are from things. So he's asking like, how long until we get there?
Okay, I'm gonna hold out my hand to it, like towards it, kind of like I want to take it in my hands.
Okay, sure. He like looks at you and he's like confused because you guys don't share a same language, but he kind of shrugs and hands it to you.
Okay, so this is what I want to do. You tell me whatever checks, if anything, needs to apply here. I'm sure it will. Mm-hmm. I wanna take it and kind of like open it wide, and then like hold it up to like almost like I'm holding it up to the sun to like see through it and stuff, but I'm basically kind of like with a flourish, like moving it around, like trying to look up. And the reason why I'm doing this is I want to surreptitiously put my arcane mark on it, and I want to disguise the somatic component for me, like moving the map.
Okay, you can do so. It's been more than a day since you used it last time. Okay, so you want to kind of just have your arcane mark on that so that you personally can spot that specific thing at a later point?
Correct, and I will be making the mark invisible, of course, not to me.
Okay, sure, yeah. Okay. He kind of looks at you suspiciously. Anyways, he tells Flickerwisp, I'll return back to my duties. And he kind of holds out to get the map back. You hand it back?
So while I have it and while I'm doing this, I do want to glance and take a look at the map, and with what I know of the land, see if there's anything like, see if he's like made any like little mark, you know.
Yeah,
I
no, there is.
I know I can't read, but you know. Yeah.
There's straight up no identifying marks of any kind. This is like a map that clearly was purchased somewhere that he's now using. You can try to investigate the location where the map might be from, but other than that, there's nothing identifying about this map.
No, I'm gonna hand it back to him, and I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna. Is it like a what is it a map of that I can tell?
It's a map generally outlining in a rudimentary way the major shape of the continent with various large cities denoted on the map. And the cities that are denoted on the map are those that you would imagine would be on, a basic map that somebody might own.
Okay, so I mean, it would be clear enough without reading and just knowing like where cities are around Bacchus, like kind of generally where Bacchus is on the map, right?
Oh yeah, it indicates Graydon Dur on the map. Yep.
I'm gonna hand it back to him. I'm gonna point at that. I was like, oh, I was born here, and point at the map, and then just hand it back to him.
Flickerwisp translates, and the guy kind of just smiles and goes, okay. Walks away sheepishly. Okay, and Lanray, with the bosun in hand now and Flickerwisp finding Max in the engine room, you do sort of investigate this mechanism from your standpoint, not of an arcane, more of like a functional, just general intelligence and risk standpoint. You look at this engine and see like it is potentially at risk of sabotage. And sabotage would be extremely dangerous on an airship. I mean, if this thing suddenly, for whatever reason, stopped, the whole thing would crash into the ocean. Everyone on board would die unless you guys figure out a way not to die in the ocean or from the crash. It is not made to be of defensive nature. Like, this is not a military ship that would suspect things like that. So that's a little worrisome. You don't think anyone would purposely sabotage the engine to kill off the whole crew and themselves. But it is something that, like, even somebody with a little bit of malice could figure out how to disrupt this spinning gyroscopic element and, really disrupt the magic that holds this thing up.
Yeah, I mean, I think at some point I would probably want to try to go talk to Flickerwisp about that as a way to say maybe you should put somebody on watch that you trust, if you trust anybody. If not, I know that's always a problem for you, Flickerwisp, but yeah.
Yeah. Flickerwisp kind of like, you whisper that to Flickerwisp, and Flickerwisp kind of like nods and goes, yeah, there's, I think the bosun, I mean, he's like, the bosun is not capable of any kind of magics, and honestly, like, I don't think he wants to crash the ship, so I'm going to tell him to stick around and let me know if there's any suspicious activity other than Max back here. And he kind of like waves the guy down and goes, yeah, in Gnomish he says, Max is okay, he's allowed back here, but really restrict anybody else from getting back here and keep a watch. I'll bring you food and water. And the bosun kind of nods, agrees to stay back in the engine room. Okay, so with all of that sort of at this moment, let's do some more Mad Libs. The next one is... So the next one is any PC or NPC. Some interesting choices here. Landray dropped Finra's grandmother as an answer. Modolfir has Thoruk, the shaman that you guys met up in the... Now, Modolfir, just to be clear, the Thoruk was the one who was up in the hills. That's who you want, right?
He's the one that was leading us to Lask Sarda.
No, that was a different person. That was, let me find his name.
Okay. I thought that was Tharok. Yeah, no. The shaman that was leading us to Lost Serdat, that when we were being chased by the wolves, he fell in battle to the wolves.
Yes, that was the moon. Let me find his name.
Did his name begin with a B or something? I thought maybe.
Yeah, let me find him on the old list. Barog.
Yeah,
it was Barog the
yeah.
Journeyman.
Okay, so I mean, if you look at my out of session, yeah, just replace
That's who you intended.
Tharok with Barog, yeah, and it still makes sense. So
okay, yeah, I'll do so. If it lands, I'll use Barog. And then Max had Jameson. You guys have forgotten a little bit about the Acer Magica folks, and Finry dropped Flickerwisp's name, who's that makes a lot of sense. So I think Modolfir rolled it last. Max, go ahead and roll your number 3 so that it's your answer. Roll a 1d4.
that's
What the hell? How? That is like 4 3s in a row.
I think we're just gonna use Max's Mad Lib, basically.
Yeah. It's just portents, man. It's all portents.
1 4 60 and Thursday. Yeah, it's like 1 in 300 almost chance. Whatever 4 to the 4th is, I guess. Okay, cool. Seamus Adele. Does anybody feel strongly against that and wants to tweak that at all? Any of the other answers? I mean, there's some good stuff here.
I have no idea what this Mad Lib does at this point, so I wouldn't know one way or another whether the fact that it's like you could pick my Finry's grandma is a good or a bad thing. So I don't even know how I would make the choice.
Yeah, the last answers, just as a recap, is inhibited, dignified, successful, and now Jameson Dell. Okay. If nobody wants to re-roll that with chaos or otherwise change it to one of the answers on there, we will move on. The next one, we're going to do another one, is going to be a verb. Let me close the previous one and show players. Okay. So answers were tussle, honor, amount, and caress. Finry, it comes down to you to not roll a 3. Can you do it?
yes.
This is insane. This is absolutely insane.
This doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Okay. Now, Max, you answered amount as a verb. I'm a little confused. What do you mean by amount? Like
it's
submit?
No.
What's your actions amount to?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, so it's essentially like a summation of action.
Yep.
The summing of.
Come to be when added together. Not numerically, but in any way, right?
Okay. Anybody feel strongly about that?
No, not really.
Well, I mean, until we roll something besides the 3, I think.
Okay.
I'm going to say
go to the next one.
played a lot differently if Lanray was in the 3rd spot, because I'm just looking at Tussle. I feel like we should do a version of the Mad Libs with just Lanray's answers. At the
I'll send out each person's
universe.
individuals also at the out of session. That's a good idea. All right. Please God, anything other than a 3 here on emotion. So I think it's back to Lanray. Lanray, you can break this curse.
Yeah, I mean, if we roll another 3, there's something fishy going on.
Yeah, I'm going to change it to a 1d8 and just divide by 2 if that happens. Go ahead. Okay. The curse is broken. Modolfir's answer will be aggrieved. Interesting. So, inhibited, dignified, successful, Jameson Dell, amount, and aggrieved. Give you that list right here. It's fine. I said it verbally. Anybody feel like that could be changed to something different? Okay.
I think we're going with it.
Okay, this sentence makes no sense. Moving on. That's definitely something that can happen. Lastly, we're going to do one more here. Verb. Perambulate, which I had to look up, fancy SAT word. It's essentially like, yeah. Everybody knows what that means. Essentially like to travel or journey kind of in a leisurely way or circuitous way. Madolfir, you will be rolling this. So perambulate, howl, desire, and elbow. Like, poof, put your elbows out. Okay, a 1. So perambulate it is.
We're perambulating all over this.
Okay. Good. Let's return back to the main sort of things happening here. Oh, actually, you know what? Let's do one more. Let's do one more so I have time to really think how I'm going to make this work. Occupation. Why did GM do this? Occupation. This is now Max's turn. Sea Dog, Shaman, Forester, Cleaner.
Cleaner is great.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Now we know. Now we can't roll a 3 anymore. Okay. Cleaner. Excellent. Okay, let's save that. Close. All right, back to action that is happening. Dinner time has come. The crew is gathered in the galley. Max, did you take the opportunity to try to figure out how to start setting up a rigging of the ship, or are you kind of skipping that today?
I'm setting it up. Yeah, no, I started. Yeah, I don't want to mess with anything, but I want to place everything where it needs to be so that we can do it quick. So that the actual jury rigging can be done very quickly.
Okay.
When there's a lot of people.
Okay.
Writing up the instructions on what I'm basically saying if I had a whole bunch of men to do this work all at once, can I come up with a list of what everyone's responsibility is so that it can be done very quickly? Right?
Got it. Yep. Sort of pre-sorting all that. Finnery, what are you doing while everyone is eating?
I'm gonna go look at Sus Boy's box.
Oh, his foot box at his bed?
I mean, foot box sounds a little bit derogatory, but box. It's just
okay. Each bed has a chest at the foot of it, where personal things are kept. Okay, and you know where he was particularly sleeping.
If you want to say Sus Boy has a foot box where personal things are kept, who am I to judge?
Okay, yeah, you go and search in that. Give me a search check. There's a lot of crap clothes, things like that. Unless you want to take as much time as needed where you might get caught by somebody, but otherwise, this is being done as quickly as possible. Okay. You just need above a 20 to do it in a very short time frame. You do not find a box in his possessions. Now, there's been ample time by now for somebody to have potentially gotten rid of a box, if that is something.
Well, I just want to know what's in there. I'm looking for green clothes, a box, something that doesn't belong.
Yeah.
Because he's sus, right?
Yeah. Okay, so this is going to be interesting. You do not find any green clothing. You find clothing in there. You find general things that you would imagine: a water flask. Hold on, let me pull up one thing here. Yeah, you find a water flask, clothing, shoes. Nothing of that green color. However, with your check, you do find a backpack that's resting against the crate, the foot crate, whatever you want to call it, the chest at the foot of the bed. You also see some soot on the floorboards near that backpack. The soot is kind of fine and oily, and nearby, almost swept a little bit so that you could see like a streak happening on the floorboards. A little bit of ash that's just been tucked underneath the bed. Are you doing anything with this backpack or that soot and ash?
I'm gonna take a sample of the soot and ash, just like kind of get like a little rag, ball of it, and then I'm gonna search the backpack.
Okay. You search the backpack. The backpack, as you open it up, has some like random herbs, but like some of it's food herbs, but some of it is not food herbs. Some of it is like a twig of a maple, like a little maple twig. You find like the smallest little, like maybe it's a squirrel bone of some kind. You find a very unusual looking rock in the backpack, but nothing else other than these kind of weird knickknacks. With your search check, you also note a symbol on one of the back folds of the backpack. And that symbol is that same symbol that was described to you by the rest of the party as being seen on the crate. Kind of this geometric shape that goes to various points. Are you lingering at this point to find more, or what are you doing?
Do I see anything under the bed? I'm assuming that like he swept the stuff. Do I see anything else wrong about his specific area?
No, everything under the bed is empty other than that little bit of a trace of ash, a very small amount that was clearly like pushed maybe with a foot under the bed, and that oily, sooty residue. Other than that, no.
All right, so I am going to go find Max.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to pull Max aside to have a private discourse with him. We will perambulate somewhere so that we can have a private discourse.
Okay, cool. Excellent. The rest of you, are you looking for anything in particular, Modolfir and Lanray, while Fenry was doing this? We're not going to say he's reconned with you all yet. In the moment while he's doing this, what were you guys doing?
I mean, in general, I was going to be doing the same thing throughout the entirety of the trip here, just kind of watching people.
Cool.
That guy kind of has me raise my eyebrow. I put that mark on his mat just so I could identify it if I came across it for whatever reason.
Okay.
I kind of want to watch his actions and stuff. Just watching him a little more than I would anyone else, just to take note.
Okay. And Lanner, are you joining in this kind of spying, watching action in the galley?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be looking for that same person per se, but I would definitely be looking for just suspicious activity or people that give me a weird vibe.
Not narrowing it
down. A lot of people, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you give me a gather information check, Lanray, and Modolfir, I need a spot check from you. And while you guys are doing that, I just want to note that I did find in my notes the name of the place. It's called the Censor House, was the original location that this ship was intended to go to. Okay, Lanray, with your gather information check, as you're sort of listening and generally talking with folks, They note like you hear like the food used to be better on past journeys. Like this food is whatever. This is slop. Like you start getting a feeling like the crew doesn't like the food that's being served. Sensor house has a giant radar array on top of it. We're not supposed to talk about that. Medolfir, with your spot check, you're like intently focused on this dude. And as you are like, as the room fills up with more and more people, your spot check entails that you are not able to necessarily keep tabs on him at every given moment. Your suspicion has been elevated. So like clearly you would be trying to keep tabs on him. So that check is more about like you not even noticing that you are not keeping tabs on him for some period in this moment. You know, most of the time he's behind the galley doing stuff, but he does have to go get waters and things at times. So you have lost track of where he exactly is. But, you know, you kind of look up, time has passed, dinner seems to be closing out, and you're like, oh, I guess I lost track of where he actually went. With that, we're going to go back to the Mad Lib. Where were we? We were on occupation. We last answered cleaner. So let's do the next one. Is a noun. The answer is Jewel. Answer. Outcome, I believe the last person to roll it was Max. So, Finnery, 'tis your roll. Okay, we're back to threes. Outcome, very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, whatever. We'll see how this ends up. We'll see.
This is really not going to make sense. I take it.
Like every Mad Lib, yes, GM really tied himself into a corner here. You know. At the end of the day, I have a
just noun
tool.
Just the prompt of noun isn't enough. I feel like a proper noun, like physical noun. I don't know.
Yeah. I should have narrated that for you guys. No.
We each get a reroll, but you should get a reroll too in case something's like ridiculously bad. Like
and
denied.
Good things happen for you guys, yeah. Okay. No, I'm gonna keep it. It's good. I got narrative tools that I can use at the end of this. Okay, next one is another noun. Is bay. Companion, opinion, and whole. Lanray, back to you for rolling. Whole would be very on brand if you get a 4. That could go anywhere. It could even go to a hole. Hey, all right, hole.
There you go.
It was meant to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, next up. And I assume nobody's changing any of these? No rerolls? Okay. Because, if you want to just throw chaos, it's always available. Verb. You all picked smacking, seeking, surviving, busting. Lots of gerunds. Did I specify gerund? No. Okay. So. Who's rolling now? I think it's Medolfir. Okay, back to the threes. Surviving.
Oh,
okay.
Me Man's calling for a reroll.
Oh, Me Man. Which one are you re-rolling? This one?
This one. Come on. We have to have busting.
Okay, as the person demanding a re-roll, I need you to be the one that re-rolls it.
And does this remove 3 as an option?
No, yeah, re-roll would still entitle, like 3 could still re-roll again.
Got it.
Okay, with that too, it becomes seeking. Is there anyone else who wants to re-roll? Price is Right sound is great. Yeah, I mean, there's 3 more re-rolls if people are not loving seeking and they really want to seek out busting.
I mean, whole seeking is a good follow-up, I would say.
You got to do that
I mean,
before you bust it.
I was about to say, you can't bust unless you found it.
Okay. Okay. We're going to keep seeking. Next up is an emotion. Relieved, longing, contentment, and joy. I think, let's see, it's Max's turn to roll, since Midolfir rolled the last one. Three. I mean, nobody answered poop or pee or anything like that, so really, how immature are you guys?
We can do better. Come on.
You could do more. You could do much more. Vomit could have been on there. Okay. 3 is contentment. Very interesting. Any rerolls on that? These whole seekings brought contentment. It's funny because, as with every Mad Lib, there's no real connection 90% of the time between answers. Okay. Everyone's content with contentment. We'll do one more here. This one was tricky. This was a verb or a noun. How does that work? How can it be both? Chicken, right, beef, and fart. You all... fart is a verb and a noun, as Finnery noted. So just in time for this immaturity discussion.
Listen. Chicken, beef, and fart are both a verb and a noun. But I will tell you,
right.
The best thing is you just got done saying that we weren't immature, and then I bust out the fart.
Right.
Yeah. I will say with Midolfir's answer, since he's illiterate, depending on how he wants to use it, write means to write, like the verb to write something.
True.
So I think this is Finnery's turn to roll. Finnery, roll that for. Get fart in there. Okay, right now it's right, which I will say GM will decide whether it means the writing or right as in a thing, ritual. Yes, Midolfir. W's are nonsense. These are letters that shouldn't exist. Does anybody feel like changing that? Reroll, purposely change it to fart. No? Right now it's both right and right with a W. Oh, and right. Yes, correct. Actually, GM will take any homonym in this case and use it as needed to make it work. Let's do one more since we got 20 of these. This is an interesting one. Location or the original destination. Nobody said whatever the ship was going to before. So, some people threw some interesting location. Evtspire. Evtspire is a very remote island on the far eastern side of Dorithia. It is on the long Dorgian archipelago. Let me see if I can get a marker here. Put a circle. It is way out here. You guys see that?
Landry, did you go to school between the last session and now? What happened? Where is this?
He just likes poking around maps, I think,
Where is this knowledge coming from?
So it is way out there.
I think it's something that Finry's grandma told him.
Yeah.
Right. Stay educated.
And then Max picked Turngrig, which confused the GM for a minute, but eventually was found. It is located kind of near the main lake of Lochenveld in Dwarven territory, in the Heldorian Dwarven territories. And that is located right... let me see if I can zoom in. It's a really tiny place here. Okay. So, with that, and then obviously Shatterwake with Finry and Bakabite Lowlands. So, on this one, it's back to Lanray to roll. So, Lanray, why don't you go ahead and give me a 1d4 this one could have some reroll possibilities depending on how you guys want to jockey it. Oh, okay. This could get very interesting for GM. Evitspire, the tiny island at the far reaches of the world, is the current answer. Now, you don't know. Maybe that has nothing to do with where the ship is going, but, you know, this Mad Lib exists for a reason. Are you guys keeping Evitspire for now?
Reason not to.
I'm just imagining Lanray, you know, on this journey, just like an encyclopedia, just being like, I heard at Evitspire they have a volcano that flows all the time with lava. Like, okay.
And they have
Cool,
they have unique turtles.
Yeah. I mean, it's the world's largest collection of sea turtles. It's a natural nesting ground for them. All right, we're gonna keep it unless somebody wants to re-roll it. Excellent. And then one more. I like this too much. So now this was just a tertiary decision between stay, disembark, and come back. And those are the answers: either disembark or stay. Nobody said come back. So next up is Madolfir. Go ahead and roll me a 1d4. Okay, a 2. Disembark. Okay. Excellent. Are we keeping disembark for now? Okay. Let's return back to the evening. As you guys saw, the galley starts to empty. The crew starts taking their normal sort of, okay, Group A starts going towards the quarters. Group B heads to the deck. The bosun has not returned back to the galley. You notice Flickerwisp runs off some food to him using one of the crew members, and then remembers like, ah, shit, I said not to accept anybody inside the engine, and runs after the crew member to grab the food and take it himself.
Hey, is there an opportunity for me to have like a personal interaction with Susboy, whatever his name is? Like, can I sit next to him real quick before I grab Max, or can I like walk past him in the hallway?
Yeah, there could have been, except one thing that you notice is like, where'd he go? Have you seen him, Madolfir? Have you seen him in a few minutes? Nobody has seen him for a few minutes. Like,
who was the crew member that Flickerwisp sent food with to take to the boat?
I would say with your spot checks and Lanray's sort of gathering and all the checks that happened before, you're not sure exactly who it was. It was a gnome. You saw the backside of him. A lot going on. Like 40 people shuffling in and out, keeping track of it with the spot checks and the checks you had before. Unclear. You could certainly run off towards Flickerwisp to find out if you want. But in this moment, you're not 100% sure where Susboy is. Okay.
I'm going to follow Flickerwisp.
Okay. You get the suspicion that maybe that's Susboy. You run after Flickerwisp. He's already upstairs going towards the back engine, which is like a hatch that occurs in the ceiling. He starts pulling it down and going up the stairs, where you catch him with the other person. Are you grabbing at the other person?
Not necessarily, but I mean,
okay.
I'm
You're holding them.
Watching. I'm going to be, well, I just wanted to see who it was and if it was the guy we were looking for. If there's if he does any quick movements though, I'm springing.
Yeah, they're not doing any quick movements. He's carrying the food. Flickerwisp was walking with him, but you only see their backs. You see Flickerwisp obviously, but you don't know what the face of this person is. So are you trying to halt them to see who it is, or letting them continue?
So in line, it's me, then Flicker, then this person?
Yeah, Flicker is kind of shoulder to shoulder starting to go up the stairs with him. The stairs are wide enough for both of them, but you're behind. Like 10 feet or so.
Has Flickerwisp told him, hey, hold on, and he has kept moving?
No. Unless you're calling out for Flickerwisp to tell him to hold on.
Well, I mean, okay, so I'm sorry. I'm gonna try ask one more clarification. Like, Flicker Wisp was trying to get to this guy to say, "Oh, hey."
Flicker Wisp caught up with him in the moment, so they are just walking shoulder to shoulder to the engine room at this point. He's not like running after him or anything.
No, but he's like walking with him or trying to stop it and say, "Oh no, I will take that."
No, they're both doing it. Flicker Wisp wouldn't carry food; that would indignify him. So he's still having the guy carry the food. He's just going with him so the bosun doesn't kill him.
So I'm gonna keep my eye on the guy, but I'm gonna keep walking towards.
Okay. So you just see his shoulder and the back of his head and all that as he's carrying food. The rest of you in this moment, Finri, as you look around to try to find that galley worker who's been sort of suspicious and who had the soot, you don't see him. Are you going to search somewhere for him?
No, I mean, if I see Max, I will pull Max aside and have a quick conversation. That was the original intent too. So,
okay, you do see Max. Max, what are you doing as Finri walks up? Were you doing anything in particular, or just kind of thinking through your plans of this jerry rigging?
I mean, if I've completed the plans, then yeah, I'm willing to look around. Okay.
Just got some food with you. Yeah, you find Max. He's available. Landray, I assume you're available also, unless you're doing something.
Yeah, no, I'm available.
Okay. What are you guys looking for?
Max,
What do you guys
Max
want to do?
sees you. Max sees you coming and says, "Oh, hi."
So I will pull out the ash thing, and I was like, Max, I found, and I will explain the things that I found. Especially, at this point I know about the diagram, which I think was on the box, right? The 12-sided lotus thing. I will say this was on his backpack. I found this. It looks like this dude is a mage or a druid or a cleric of some sort.
Max, are you handing Max the backpack itself?
I am handing him the sample of ash. I did not take the backpack. I left something in the backpack. Yeah.
Yep, gotcha. Max, as he describes the things that you found, that he says found, it sounds like potentially things that are used as like a focus. Materials that are arcane materials. Yeah. Definitely doesn't sound like just
arcane or like when you say a focus, you mean like a divine focus or
no, you feel like these are arcane. They are not the kinds that you would see in a druid or other divine casters goods.
Could I get like a sense of focus of
like
this?
What kinds of things he does?
Yeah, based on like the materials, I guess. I don't know.
The bone is interesting. It would immediately like the rodent bone is, kind of a tell of like maybe necromantic, but you do know that there are other not necessarily evil raising dead like things that do use bone material. The stone,
ground bone is used in some growth.
Exactly. Bingo. Yeah. There's conjuration. There's other stuff other than necromancy that uses those. The stone generally lends itself, like more stones other than pearls lend themselves to kind of like abjuration type magics. But from the general sound of it, there was a lot of conjuration elements that you're like, okay, I know these spells kind of that use that kind of thing, if this is what that is.
And so conjuration and abjuration?
Yeah.
Is a lot of it? Okay.
Yeah.
I have like a look of like utter disgust.
Yes, abjuration. Disgusting. Lesser magic.
Stupid conjuring abjurer.
Yep.
So the ash, I don't know, you said the thing that I was able to pull off the ground was like the oily residue of ash, like it was used to draw something because it's like you dilute a solid in an oil so that you can use it to draw, right?
The soot part of it was, yeah. Like the ash was swept underneath, but then like there was a sooty material that was traced out and like weird, oily, and almost kind of smeared at the end. Like somebody might have been doing something, like a suspension.
That's what I will explain to Max, because I think having been like a druid, having hung around with Max, it looks like a magic-y thing, and then the soot is what happened afterward, but it's the whatever in the oil suspension
Yep.
that was used.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, you explained that. You also explained the symbol you saw. Now, the interesting thing here is that Max and the rest of them have seen the symbol on the crate. You have seen the symbol on the backpack. You're both describing it to each other, but you haven't both seen both instances of it, right? So each person is describing it. It sounds similar.
It's a 12-leaf lotus pattern.
Yeah.
Like that's the,
Max is like, oh yeah, that's Max. You would know that you also saw that on the crate. Landray, with all this information about being discussed regarding this particular person, are you trying to use your sensory capabilities in any way?
I mean, if there's a way where I could help figure out like gathering more information, I guess I would, but it also
Give me that. Yeah. Like maybe you're like asking around specifically about this guy?
Yeah, or just trying to find like the right person to see if they'd be willing to, like, I use my judgment to try to see if they want to chat.
Yeah.
And ask about him.
You kind of catch the linger honors of this. A couple of the people are supposed to be going down. They're part of Group A going down to the quarters. But a couple of them are lingering around, having an extra ale or two, loose-lipped chatting about how the food's not great. And you kind of come up and softly, yeah, the food. What about that guy who works preparing the food? And one of them kind of speaks out, yeah, I mean, he's to blame. The food has been awful since he got on the ship. And he's like, yeah, who even brought him on the ship? And they start like discussing loudly, like, I don't know. He's not here now, is he? And they look over like drunkenly, like, no, he's not here. He's not here. We can talk shit about him. Landray, Finry is having to translate a lot of this conversation for you, but yeah, you get the sense that this person is new on the ship, and the people are not happy about his food cooking capabilities. Okay, so
is he? I guess the one thing I would ask the group is these guys that are complaining about him. Mm-hmm. Is he cooking the same food just poorly, or is he cooking a totally different menu than you all are used to?
Yeah, they, through the translation of Finry, kind of just like, it's the same food we always eat, the tack and stews. It just feels like he doesn't know how much salt to ever put in. Yeah, the salt is awful. And, I mean, a little bit of seasoning would be nice, right? Yeah, seasoning would be good. Yeah, they just kind of shrug. I don't know. He just doesn't seem to care. Okay. With that information, are you all doing anything physically away from the spot that you are sitting right now? Otherwise, I'm going to go to Medolfir. Are you scrambling in any way, going away from this location? Okay. Nope. So you all have gathered that information about this person. You're not visibly seeing him in this moment. Medolfir, as you stay behind with your footsteps behind these two, they don't seem to really care that you're following them. Flicker was kind of like looks over his shoulder. It's like, oh, okay, coming with, I guess. You reach the engine room. The door is opened. Are you doing anything before they walk into the engine room?
Peek in. I mean, look over their shoulder. I've got height advantage, so.
Yep. You see the bosun like kind of sitting back on a chair. He kind of sits forward when he notices Flickerwist. He's like, oh, good food. I'm starving. And they take the tray over towards him. The bosun does speak common, by the way. They bring the food over to him. He starts grubbing out. And you notice now as the person turns, the person with Flickerwisp is not that suspicious galley worker. It's just another crew member.
All right.
Okay. Flickerwisp tells him like in Gnomish that he can go bed down now, and the guy kind of like does a weird salute and heads down.
I'm going to do a quick spot check.
Cool. Yeah, give me a spot check. Investigating if there's anything out of place in this place. Yeah, kind of look around. You're like, technology crap. Okay, back to the Mad Libs. Let's see what happens on that front. So last time we were at Stay, Disembark, or Comeback. You guys selected Disembark. The next one is an adjective. Landray said angular, sacred from Adolphir, gaping from Max, gaping holes, floating from Finray. So I have no idea who last rolled. Let's see. It was Adolphir, so now it's going to be Max. Give me that 1d4 Max. Okay, gaping it is. I'm going to go ahead and assume nobody wants to change that.
I do want to say that I rolled on a table of like thousands of words for every single one of these that was like a noun or a verb. So
excellent. Yeah, the 3 is weighted. We're going to have to change out these digital dice afterwards. Okay, that is the adjective. Nobody's changing it, it sounds like. Next one is a fun superlative. Landray squishiest, Adolphir deepest, Max fewest, and Finray worst. So this is going to be Finray rolling now. Is this going to be the deepest gaping hole? It's the worst gaping hole. No. Okay. Excellent. Next, is anybody changing that? No? Okay. Oop, I accidentally wrote it in the wrong place. There we go. Okay, worst. Next up is a noun. Yeah, nobody's doing the rerolls, so we'll see what. The noun is going to be whoever's after Finray, so that would be back to Landray. 1d4, please. You got scroll, as in like a magical scroll, I take it, or maybe just a written mundane one. Pack. Now, but don't fear, that could be like wolf pack. It could be a literal pack. Newspaper and wound. Landray rolled a 4, which is wound. Oh my gosh, the worst gaping hole wounds.
Those don't feel good, I'm sure.
This is turning Shakespearean quickly. Okay. It's a sentence, I guess. We'll see. Anybody want to change it? Okay. Nobody?
No.
Okay. Couple more left. This was going to be a food. Dragon cheeks, smoked venison, capers, or steak. This is going to be Adolphir to roll. Okay, back to the 3. This is a caper or capers.
You know what? Just because.
Yeah?
I'm going to flex my reroll.
Do it. Reroll it. That is now 2 of y'all who have rerolled. The reroll has no negative repercussions. Oh, right back to
oh
it.
my goodness.
Capers. It seems to be Adolphir's digital dice that is particularly weighted. Does anybody want to reroll or purposely move that one again? I feel very strongly about food. Okay.
I can. This is very on brand for Adolphir. There was 3 meat options on the menu, and we got capers. So
I got capers. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Damn it! Now I want Locke's bagel. Damn it.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, last one. This one is a verb. To bogart, as in to sort of. What's the synonym of bogart? To
being
hoard.
Yeah,
to hoard. Yeah. Remember, end, and expand. So this is going to be Max to finish it off.
Okay.
Unless someone does a reroll. Max and Lanray still have rerolls available. On brand. Okay. Excellent. I mean, is anybody changing that? Okay. Last chance. So we got, I'll even give a last chance to re-roll any of these as I read them out of context. We had inhibited, dignified, successful, Jameson Dell, amount, aggrieved, perambulate, cleaner, as in the like an occupation, outcome, whole, seeking, contentment, write, as in either writing a verb or write as a ritual, Evetspire, the location, disembark, gaping, worst, wound, capers, and end.
I want to reroll number 8, the job.
The job? Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Reroll it. This is Max's reroll. 1 becomes a sea dog now.
That's much better, I think.
Yeah, sea dog. Okay.
And just to add a little more chaos to it, I'll re-roll the successful or unsuccessful.
Ooh, I love it. Okay, roll it. 50-50 chance. It was successful before. Okay, so it is still successful.
You did what Moto here did. You re-rolled the 3 into a 3.
Right. You can't avoid it.
Okay, excellent. Anybody else purposely doing anything or otherwise not? And that's all the free rerolls. Okay, we'll return back to that. So, the group suspicious of this person has not seen him. Adolphir, you return back with Flickerwisp looking over the galley that is clearly less filled now. This evening has been strange. Flickerwisp mentions, like, man, it's going to be nice once we're able to know where we are. He's like, I'm not going to lie to you, Adolphir. I've been kind of guessing where we are. And that annoying kid that kept coming up to me, he kept asking, and I had to, try to tell him. All I'm doing is heading towards the sun. I know we're west of the continent based on what the Admiral used to say, but eventually we'll see land, I think. I have no idea where we are. With that,
GM, as part of how I wanted to better understand how the airship worked, did I find any sort of compass to know and understand what direction we're heading?
The Admiral's quarters had a lot of that kind of navigational gear, yes. Did you like to go back and really study that kind of stuff?
I would at least like to, if I think anybody would notice, I would potentially consider talking to Flickerwisp and basically being like, hey, do you mind if I take this, given your boy's dead?
Okay. Yeah, you kind of get Flickerwisp at a moment while this is happening, and you take him to the captain's quarters, which are his quarters now, and he's moved his stuff in there, and you notice one thing. And Flickerwisp kind of raises his eyebrow. He's like, Landry, is this some sort of prank? Where's my map? And you notice that the map, a compass, and various navigating tools he notices that they are missing from the main table that's in the captain's quarters.
I tell him, I was like, well, this is sus.
You watched Flickerwisp unlock the door here. There's a lock on this door, and he's like, this is the only key. I got it off of the dead gnome's body. No sign of break-in.
Yeah, I'll relay that to, I guess, the rest of the guys when I get back to them, because that just either there's somebody working some arcane sort of magical stuff going on, or somebody has a second key.
Yeah. Okay. With that, what are you guys doing? This evening is wrapping up. Are you guys taking rest? Or are you trying to figure out what the deal is with this missing person?
I'm Do I see Susboy?
You guys can certainly try to search out and find him on this rather large ship. In this moment, you guys have not seen him since dinner service ended. And
I will find the bosun.
Okay, he's in the engine room.
Yeah. So in my inventory, there were these 3 pearls that I got from the captain. Correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I planted one of those pearls in Susboy's backpack.
Oh, okay.
I will go talk to the bosun, and I will explain. I want to report a theft.
Okay. The other officer is usually the one in charge of personnel, but I am in charge of securing this engine room. If there's potential criminal activity here, that's a concern.
So I'm going to pull out the 2 pearls I have.
Yep.
I'm going to say, listen, I had 3 of these. These are mementos of my grandmother. And they're 3 silver pearls. And I was playing with them, albeit I probably shouldn't have, in the room. And I noticed some folks from one of those boys from the galley giving me a strange look. One of them is now missing. I don't know where it is, but is it possible that, the galley boy has taken it? Because the 3 folks in the galley definitely saw me, or, one of the 3 people that were around definitely saw me. So,
well, other than you guys, he is the only other new crew member on this particular journey. So I'm always a little bit suspicious of new personnel. Who's going to watch the engine room while we go investigate? Flicker was.
I can go. Let's go grab him and bring him here. I can go do that without you.
Okay.
But being that we need someone to watch the engine room, like Modofear, do you want to watch the engine room? Because you're already here with Flickerwist, right? Or
yeah, you can. I mean, this could have all happened correlated. Modofear, would you have gone? He might not have his microphone on, but
I'm assuming Modofear can stay.
Okay.
In the engine room.
Okay.
Or I can go grab this guy myself.
Let's say either Modofear or maybe Lanray, would you? Okay, Modofear says yes. Cool. So Modofear would stay in the engine room while the bosun and you go down. You're going down to the quarters to try to find this person?
Yeah, and I'm gonna grab one of the other. I'm not gonna be alone. I'm gonna take like 1 or 2 other gnomes that are just piddling around. I'm like, please, you 2 come with me.
Okay. You grab a couple. You start searching around the boat, around the ship, and you're not immediately finding this guy. He is not where you would think in the galley. Or I assume you go into the quarters. You start searching via the various people that are resting with a little candle. You look through. You do not see him in his bed.
If we can't find him, I'm going to go to the quarters base with these 2 random people.
Yeah.
And I'm going to look at them and I'm going to say, do you know which bunk is the new crew member, the galley mate, whatever his name is?
Okay. They kind of nod and they point to the one that you were investigating, the one with the backpack and the soot. Break for a moment. Lanray and Max, who have positive intelligences and have seen the crate symbol. Can I get it? Because it's been a day since actually you guys tried to test whether you knew that thing. Give me a knowledge nobility if you have ranks in it, or otherwise intelligence. Let me double check. That's the real one. Knowledge. Yes, knowledge nobility. Okay, that is an interesting roll. What did you roll on that? Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, that is not good enough. Cool. Yeah, nothing happens. As you walk up to the bed, And Max and Landray, are you with Finnery in this kind of investigation, or are you kind of keeping an eye on the galley during all this?
I guess I would have talked to Finnery and asked if he needed some support.
Okay.
Yeah, come on and be on the lookout for Susboy.
Okay. As you guys approach that same bed, there's one thing that is very different than before, Finnery. The backpack is nowhere to be found. The chest is still there. The crew kind of under instruction open the chest. There's clothes and stuff. There's no backpack. And there's nobody in that bed.
I wouldn't have gone through the thing. I would just make it a point to kind of inspect that area.
Okay.
I'm going to go find Max.
Okay.
Hello.
Max, there were 3 of these pearls. One of them is in the backpack of the guy that's hidden. Can you locate object for the 3rd pearl if I give you these 2?
Yeah, they were... Can I use that? Or does proximity association not help? I don't...
You have an accurate image of one that is very similar. I would say with the image of the very similar other pearls, you could. Yes, I would say you could. Do you have locate object available to you?
Yeah, but I could also search for the symbol, couldn't I?
You could not search for the symbol. You mean of the box? On the box or on the backpack?
They were the same.
That's true, as far as you know.
I saw the box. And if it tells me there's a backpack with the same symbol on it.
Yeah, I'll allow it. You have a very, your intelligence garners you some things like the ability to remember things in deep detail. Yeah, whichever one you want, whether it's the pearl or that image, I'll allow it. Or both.
Would either of them be easier?
The pearl would be easier because you're looking at another very similar pearl.
I'll do that, yeah.
Yeah, it would find, at a minimum, other pearls that are on the ship, potentially.
Okay, I cast it.
Okay.
By the way, before I cast it, I kind of get into like I back up against the wall and kind of put my heel up against the wall and get into like a sprinter start. And then I cast it.
Okay. It has a range of like 400 plus 40 feet, which would cover the entirety of this ship, unless it was being blocked by a thin sheet of lead.
Yeah, but I'll run to it.
You do pick up a location below you, and you think about the engineering of the ship, and the only thing that's below you is the cargo hold.
Isn't that where the box was originally?
What's that?
Is that the same place the box was originally?
Yeah, generally. I mean, inside the cargo hold.
I say that, and I begin to run towards the cargo hold.
Okay. You're holding on to this as a duration spell. So it is still continuing for several minutes. 9 minutes to be exact, since you cast it yourself.
Yeah.
You guys are following down across the deck. You're looking around. There's various crew members, doing things with ropes, like a boat person does, cleaning the deck. You guys get to the hatch to the cargo. Monophere's not with you, but you 3 with Flickerwisp are going to investigate. Down the hatch you go into the darkness. Are you guys all just going as quickly as possible?
I'm looking for Susboy. I don't know if that means I can see in the dark. I'm sure that
you can.
With me can as well.
Yep. Is who's leading this? Max with his sort of locate object, closing his eyes and just following along, bumping into random things sometimes, or is it?
I'll be next to him, guiding him. So how
Gotcha.
about that?
Okay.
I mean, I yelled out cargo hold and then went. So, yeah.
It is a moonlit night across the deck as you get to the cargo hold hatch and you come down. Finry and Max standing shoulder to shoulder, Landray slightly behind with Flicker Wisp. Somebody has to open the door itself. Is that Max or Finry?
I'll ask one of the. There's 2 other gnomes with us. Remember, I picked up 2 random crew people to help us. I'll ask one of them to open the door.
Cool. Yeah. Okay.
And I'm going to tell Flicker, you may want to cast like Detect Invisibility or Magic, because I'm pretty sure this dude's got some kind of magic around him.
Okay. So you ask him to cast what? Flicker Wisp cast what?
Detect Invisibility or Detect Magic. I'll tell him, I'm like, I don't think this is an average crew member. He's probably invisible or has the ability to cast spells. Going off of the conversation from Max, right?
Yeah, I gotta see if he even has that. Looking through the spell list.
He probably has Detect Magic, though. He's got that monocle.
He does have Detect Magic, yes. That's not an issue. So he's like, okay, I'll cast that. Okay. As the hatch door opens from the 2 ensigns, let's call them. Always a good sign. Okay. As that occurs, I need Finry and Max to give me a reflex save. Okay, good rolls. Finry, certainly. And Finry, do you have that feat that reduces damage if you successfully reflex save?
Yeah, I think that's a class skill for Thief, so I think I've got it. Let me double check.
I believe it's evasion.
Yeah,
is it like evasion? Yeah, I have evasion and uncanny dodge. So.
Okay. Okay.
So,
as you watch,
partial damage, it takes none.
Okay. As you watch the 2 ensigns open the hatch and just take a small step down, an enormous rush like you've never felt, almost like the feeling we were on the high hills in Heldorian dwarven lands up in the high mountains of cold, bitterly cold temperature, blasts out in a cone. The 2 ensigns immediately are dead, frozen like bodies on the top of Mount Everest. And the 2 of you would have taken damage. Finry, you're able to leap out of the way of this cone coming forth. Max, you also just at the edge of this cone are unsuccessful in avoiding harm. That is not a high enough roll, so I need to roll.
Cool.
This is gonna be okay. Roll, please. I need lots of d6s. Ooh, those are bad rolls. Okay, you take 33 points of cold damage.
Oh,
As this blast hits you, and you're like, "Oh, those ensigns are very dead right now." Land right from behind, you just missed it. You feel it like on the tip of your nose, like, "What the hell?" And down below, that magic force dissipates back into darkness. And in a common voice, someone yells out, "Don't step any further, or I'll blast you!"
Did you hear what Did you hear what I started screaming?
Yeah, you're screaming as you roll and duck and reflex out of the way. You're screaming, "The cook is killing other crew members! To arms! To arms!" And like some of the people on the deck are like, "Are we doing this again?" These guys, I swear, like they're slow to react, only from a slight amount of boy cries wolf scenario from the last time you guys caused chaos on the deck. But like, okay, noted. You've said it. In this moment, there's no initiative. There's kind of a Mexican standoff here. There has to be a lookout. What do you mean?
No, never mind.
Yeah, I mean, like we're on a boat. There's got to be someone that is sitting on the boat that would have seen the giant blast of cold coming out.
For sure.
And here's that guy yelling and seeing the guy's dead. We're going to start asking for people to help healing them.
Yep.
I want to paint this guy in as bad a light as possible, right?
Yeah. The guy up in the crow's nest is in charge of keeping an eye out for all of this. And he looks down, he sees these two ensigns. You said somebody to heal them. When they got frozen like corpses and they fell because they were rigid, they shattered. That was instant death for them, those two ensigns. They are dead right now. So unless you can revivify or otherwise, they be dead. You scream that out. He does seem to be ready to hit the bell alarm in this moment. Is anybody going to try to confront wherever this blast came from below, or do you wish to hear some dialogue?
Does it sound like the crew, like, am I reasonably assured that the crew is not going to turn on us, but instead turn on the cook?
Yeah. I mean, as you scream this out, the rest of them are like confused, but then the guy up on the thing is ringing the bell. Now, I mean, contextually, are they about to attack you? They've been taking y'all's orders up till now, so not enough time has passed to be able to figure out contextually if they're going to now come and try to kill you.
I'm going to wait until some of the crew can see what is happening.
Okay.
To do my thing. So if that means I have time for context and talking, that's going to be fine.
In a few moments, some of them start coming off of their posts. The guy up in the crow's nest is coming down, sliding down this net. Landray and Max, you just took a bunch of damage. In this moment, are you returning fire in any way?
I mean, I guess, so just to get a slightly better picture, we're essentially looking straight down. Are we in a hallway and we're just looking at an open door, or is it like we're in a big space and we're in front of a door?
Great question. Mayman had the same one. You guys actually don't see him. A combination of the hatch is only a certain size. The sort of angle that you guys are standing at, getting ready to go down it, is such that wherever this blast came from and wherever he is now, you do not have direct line of sight to him.
We're going down a hatch.
Yes, this happened as soon as that hatch door opened up.
Got it. Okay.
He's just like, I know you've been looking for me.
I'm going to say, all right, you shitty cook, you're under arrest for the murder of 2 crew members.
Fuck you. I know that's not your real job. And he goes, I always knew it was true, and now I have seen the city with my own eyes. I've got proof. The dormant root shall grow. The season of rebirth has come.
All right, so can I see into this room, by the way?
You can see partially into the hatch, but you don't see him. Like, you expect that he is just into the shadow line and the obstructed sort of edge of this hatch. You would have to get down lower to see him because he's purposely keeping himself obscured.
Do I know the layout of this room, by the way?
Yeah, you guys have been down in this cargo hold enough to know generally the corridor that's down there. Max immediately casts dancing lights, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you see the shadow of him from these dancing lights that are moving below, but the line of the hatch, unless one of you actually moves closer towards the hatch and tries to take a physical action, is still blocking his visage, but you do see his shadow, which implies his position, which is being blocked.
Can I, what's the layout of this room? Because I'm going to do something, but I don't know the layout.
It is a long, open cargo hold, and the only things that kind of form the hallway at the bottom of the stairs is the placement of these various crates ranging between 2 and 4 foot cubed. And it does branch off every sort of like 20 feet or so into these little like nooks where they've put more stuff that is small stacked up. So it's kind of like a straight and a couple of branches that come off of it. It's about 80 to 100 feet deep in that cargo hold from the hatch. The hatch is the terminus end of one end of it. So what are you planning on doing with that?
So it's just like a long 80 to 100 foot deep hallway is essentially what it is, just like a street.
Yes, that's formed with various stacked crates and that branch off just a little bit every 20 feet.
GM.
Hold on, let me hear what Finner's doing, and then I'll get to you. I'll do it simultaneously. There's opportunity. So Finner, what are you thinking about doing?
I am trying to bamf in such a way that he would not be able to see me. And I don't know if that is possible because I'm having a hard time imagining how this goes. Sure. I can also bamf super far away and then sneak back. Mm-hmm. I just need to know what is in the art of the possible. But I'm willing to, if you want to say, Max.
Can I interject with some information about how dancing lights works?
Yeah, give it to me.
So it's multiple point sources of light that are floating around. So if there's shadows being cast, they will like conically the shadows point to where the obstruction is. So you'll know how far in it is based on the angle of the shadows and where they would converge, right?
Yeah, 100%. It's almost forming like a triangulation because of the various shadows of exactly what the point source of the obstruction is. So that's why I'm saying you don't physically see him, but his shadow now with these dancing lights tells you exactly where he is in that hold. Finnery, it is within the realm of possibility for you to bamf, as long as it is within the main corridor, which you, in your mind, very much can imagine without seeing it. Those little nooks would be trickier because you don't know exactly the dimensions. You might accidentally fall onto like a crate or something. So that's up to you. Like the open corridor behind him is open, a little bit harder to hide. You could try for the sides, but there'll be a probability chance of you not getting exactly to one of those. I'll say it's a 50-50 chance if you try for one of the corridors that you accidentally kind of land awkwardly on a crate on the side corridors. So what do you want to do, Vidri?
How far in is this guy? I just want to...
Yeah, from what you could tell from the dancing lights now, he's just upon the precipice, like 8 feet back, just enough that like he knows nobody on the surface could see him directly. Unless they like really got on the ground on their belly to look down.
I'm going to tell Max, I'm like, just have my back for a second. Give me a second. I'm going to go at least take care of this dude, but I'm going to make it so he can't speak. So I need you to not be close to me when I do it. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, I'm not going in.
I turn to Flicker Wisp and I say, no fireballs.
He's like, I don't even have the wand on me. I've been having to put it in a glass case.
Yeah, I was like, be 15 feet away from the door is what I'm going to tell him.
So nobody sees this, but Max's hand is in his like components pouch, and he already had his hands on the components for Fireball, but he like just lets go of it.
Yeah. All right. So Finner, your BAM thing. Max, go ahead and give me that knowledge check of history.
Is it so? He mentioned a bunch of stuff that's druidy.
Yeah.
Could I finagle nature?
No, it isn't nature-y, depending on what you get on the... I would say the correct check is knowledge history in this case.
All right.
Yeah, it's not a druidy thing, despite the name. Okay, Finry, you do cast silence.
That's a nat 20, by the way.
Oh,
not
nice.
that it matters, but yeah.
Yeah, let me just check one thing.
Yeah, so his as he's like thinking about this, he's also kind of like wiping the bat guano off on the inside of the pouch because that's the component for Fireball.
Okay. Noted. Finry, you're casting silence from your... What is that being cast from?
That's because I'm a Whisper Gnome. I can only cast it centered on myself. But I can do it once per day. It's a racial ability.
I need to check one thing in 3.5. The question is whether a racial ability spell-like is able to be dispelled. And the answer is it has the same rules as Dispel Magic. So here's what happens. This will be...
Now, I'm not in a place where he can see me, though, right? He can't even see me do this. And he can't even hear the silence.
And also,
you
it's
are
not
100%.
A counter spell. He just took an action. It can't be a counter spell.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct. He, it can be if he was holding action. In this moment, potentially he could be, as all of you are.
He just cast the ice thing at us, and we didn't hang out to listen to him.
Either way,
you told us we could only see him because of his shadows.
Correct. He cannot see you. Yeah. So I'm going to say he cannot see the effect that is being cast in order to do this, and he is not knowledgeable enough of what you're doing because it's a racial capability, not actual spell casting, to do an area dispel. So you are correct. The silence goes through, and he does not realize that it has occurred because of how you cast it. Max, with your knowledge history, so you're bamfing behind him. Are you choosing to go just into the main corridor?
Yeah, I want to get as far away from him as possible so that I can sneak up on him. I don't need to be able to see him. I just need to be far enough back, and then I'll come towards him, because basically what's going to happen.
Do you want him to initially be in your silence area?
Exactly. That's my question.
I do not need him to be in my silence area immediately. But what's more important for me is he can't see me when I bamf. I don't want him. I'm not sure if he needs to speak to use magic yet. So I would rather him not see me than him feel the pattern of silence.
So you're at least like 30 feet behind him just to be sure that the silence doesn't affect him immediately.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Max, your knowledge history tells you the following. The Dormant Root, you are aware of the Dormant Root. The Dormant Root was a separatist and sort of violent group out of Kragan that you all learned in history at the college. Let's see. It's a society that believes in the reascension of gnomish supremacy through the refinement of arcana and technology. You believe that maybe your past following of Ivandir has some relation to this. Their goals seem very aligned in that sort of reascension. But this person is not. Like the Dormant Root is a group that is in Kragan, and this person seems to be talking about seeing the city with his own eyes and having proof. The season of rebirth has come. Okay.
Right. So, like, are you saying that he seems opposed to that?
No. He seems to be, like, saying that he has seen, like, the light. He has gotten the proof.
A fanboy.
Yeah, he's a fanboy. He's saying the dormant root shall grow. The season of rebirth has come.
And... okay. All right. Okay. Do I think... okay, so... this organization... So, hold on. Is he saying that the people in the island that we were just at are part of this? Like...
no. He just says he's seen the city with his own eyes, and he has proof now.
Well, what does the city have to do with this organization?
Yeah. That's what you hear, though.
Okay, so the 28 doesn't give me that information.
No, I'll reiterate what he said. You believe that okay, I will give you this bit of information. This group that believes in the reascension of gnomish supremacy, their core beliefs come from the idea that they originally ruled all of the continent. That they are the rightful sort of heirs of this continent, and everything else was created to stop them. So potentially this city is some tie to that. You do know about the history of Afrin Crag, after all. With that, we'll go back to Finry. And Landry, are you just kind of holding your bow ready at any moment, or are you proceeding forward in any way?
Yeah, no, I'm going to hold the bow ready just to kind of, eventually get a better angle depending on, watching what Finry does and what Max does.
Okay, so everyone's in a readied state now, sort of holding action. Finry, you're taking a moment to apply the drow poison to the kukri. Understood. Noted. Excellent. In this moment, he yells out, "Unfortunately for everyone aboard this fateful vessel, The clock shall strike soon. There can be none who know what is to come. Goodbye. And you see his hands starting to move, Finry. And just as his hands are moving, I'm going to go ahead and allow you to take a turn. And everybody else also sees the shadow of his hands moving. So what are you doing, Finry?
I'm going to run to him because I think I'm still within like one movement, so I can do a full movement, and then he doesn't know I'm coming, so I will get a sneak attack for him, right?
Can I cast something before that sneak attack actually hits?
I will say simultaneously everyone is holding their ready to action. Because everyone is holding their ready to sort of their turn, their full turn here in this instant moment. All of this can happen instantaneously. So Max, if you have something that affects Finry's thing, I will allow it.
Yeah, I cast a Curse of Impending Blades on the guy.
Cool. Makes perfect sense. Go ahead and cast that out. Finry, in that same moment, you are rushing forth. Lanray, without actually ducking down and trying to get an eye on him, you wouldn't have a shot, but you can do that in this moment. You can like belly flop down and try to fire in.
I think I wouldn't do that just because it would be like Lanray would just perceive as not having any sort of advantage.
Okay. So then we resolve back to Finry, who will now have the Curse of Impending Blades affecting this particular person. So Finry, you do have movement towards him. You could have been applying that quietly onto your blade as you moved closer, so I'll allow it. So you have a move and a single attack available in this immediacy.
All right, let me it's considered I get sneak attack bonus, right? So he's not
not aware of you. Yep. And you will also you will be flat-footed because he's not aware of you in this moment.
And he'll be silenced as soon as I get within 20 feet of him, so he can't make a noise anyways.
That is a great point.
And I'm considered charging too as well, right? So I'm charging it to him.
I'll allow it, yeah. Yeah, there's no reason you have more than 10 feet of run. Yeah, you could charge. Get a plus on that. Okay, lots of pluses, lots of rolls. Okay, not great rolls. So I'm going to say you put it on your main, most likely, the poison.
I think so, probably. I don't know if I could do both, but yeah.
Yeah, hold on.
Don't you get sneak on offhand as well?
He does. I'm saying for the poison. He only applied it to one of the blades, so it's going to be on the main blade. Okay, that's a good thing, because the main blade... Oh, no, it's not a good thing.
But he's flat-footed too, right? It's just...
He is.
He doesn't have... So what's his AC flat-footed?
Yep, checking. Hold on. His main AC is 15, but when he's flat-footed, he loses his dex bonus, which is a lot of his bonus. So that is... He drops to an 11. So one of your main... Because he is flat-footed...
What about the impending blades?
Oh, I forgot about that. With the impending blades... Thank you. With the impending blades, he takes another -2 penalty, which is without any specific. It's just -2 penalty.
Yeah, penalties don't have type. Penalties are just always.
So his AC is 9. All 4 of these are going to hit because of that.
Yeah. So I don't know if I get 4 attacks. I don't get a full attack. I get one.
No, you're right.
With my offhand.
You get one of the main and one of the offhand.
But I don't think that offhand calculated properly. I don't know why it missed the rest of the things. But if he falls asleep, I will not follow through. So I want him to hit the drop before I do the follow through. I don't know.
Understood. Yes, you should have applied sneak attack damage on your offhand as well. I don't believe there's a restriction on that. Although it does, usually the program calculates right.
I have to recheck those boxes because I have to hit the full attack button or the attack button twice. One's for my main and one for my offhand. I forgot to recheck the boxes.
Okay. Yeah, it should apply to both in that given action. So yeah, okay. Noted. The initial 12 will strike with your main for 29 points of damage. Now, the poison has a save DC of
13. It's just a
13. Yeah,
Fortitude.
okay.
Yeah.
It's a fortitude. Thank you. Does have a good fortitude. Please. Yes, he has a... it's an okay fortitude, actually. It's not that great. Okay. So 13, he's got to roll a 9 or higher. Here, I'll roll it out in the open as opposed to my physical. Out in the open, he needs a 9 or higher. Okay, the poison does not affect him. I didn't add his actual fortitude, and he just had to roll a 9 or higher. So you do strike him with the first attack, but the poison is ignored. Is there any effect that happens if the poison is ignored? No. There's no secondary. There's no... Yeah.
There's a secondary. There's a secondary.
But if the first one doesn't affect him, does he have to pass a secondary?
No, it's up above. I linked it up above. When I applied it, it said injury, DC 13, unconscious for 2d4 hours, and that's it. There's no...
I think with poisons, if you avoid the first initial effect, then there is no secondary effect.
I don't think so.
Well, it's going to be in a minute either way, so we'll have time to figure that out. Okay, so yeah, you strike him with that 29 points of damage. Are you going ahead and noticing he's like still standing and not unconscious? Are you going ahead and following through with your offhand too?
Yes.
Okay, so then go ahead and roll me your sneak attack, whatever the number of sneak attack dice you're supposed to have, just separately. Do like a...
Does he also get the assassin stance? Because I don't think that went through either.
It does. The assassin stance is two more d6. I can't remember.
Yes.
I'm going to roll this again just for damage, just because I can't remember all of the things.
It's 8d6 if you want to just roll 8d6 that I could add to the 3. Because that's what your combo of assassin and sneak attack is. There we go. Excellent. Okay, so then he takes another 28 points. So 28 plus 29 is 57 points of damage. As you strike him from behind, boom, boom, in the silence, he's like, what is happening right now? He is down. One important thing that has occurred is you now see a separate satchel from his backpack that has now fallen on the ground. He is kneeling on the ground as this satchel falls. He is very badly harmed, but he is not unconscious or, he has more than 0 HP. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here because the next thing that's going to happen is initiative for however long this might last. He is hanging on to life. So next session, we'll go ahead and resolve by starting right there with the satchel on the ground, etc. Oh, I forgot to read the thing. I won't be reading the thing because we need to resolve this before that happens. I will give you a hint as to the Mad Lib. The Mad Lib will establish the longer timeline of what's occurring. But in order for that to occur and the end journey to be discussed, this has to resolve itself. So we'll talk about that next session with the results. All right, guys. That was fun.
Awesome.
A little bit of a different session.
No, I liked it. I like the Mad Lib.
Cool.
I'm looking forward to seeing the outcome of that.
Yeah.
Depending on how it goes, we may have to do that every session. Maybe not as long as that.
Yeah, I'm like maybe like a little. Anytime you guys go on a long journey kind of thing, I'm thinking about some kind of mechanism to make the fast travel of it at least, to some parameter.
Or maybe like for the background of one of the characters we meet.
Yeah, sure, we can do that. All right, guys, good session. Have a good rest of your weekend.
Good session, guys.
Yeah,
See you.
I guess.
Later.